YB stays on your neck.
Hey, this is Tyson Fury, aka the Gypsy King. Just word of the day is stay blessed, stay focused, never give up on your dreams, keep moving forward no matter what. I've just got out of the gym myself. I feel absolutely fantastic. The cut is healing very well as I'm three-quarter vampire. Um, don't remember ever feeling better, to be fair. Very happy, very healthy, and very well. Um, Spreading positivity as always. Everybody out there who's down needs that kick today, needs that bit of get up and go. Get yourself up, get on the road, go to the gym. Do whatever makes you feel good. As long as it's positive, crack on with your job and do it. Saying I'm a gym junkie. I suppose I am a gym junkie. I love the gym. I love the feeling you get when you've had a good workout. Take it easy, people. Never give up on your dreams. Always keep moving forward. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay blessed. All the best.
Yo, my dance, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from yes, Tyson Fury, Tyson, Fury. And I gotta be honest, this right here was a very Freudian psychological performance from Mr. Pillowfist. But before I get into that, let me mention the first thing that comes to my mind, which is Fury's cut. Wow, his doctor, fair play to him. His doctor has leaked some very valuable information to me regarding his DeGale cell count, but she's done a good cracking job tying that eye up, because that looks nice and sweet. That looks perfectly lined up now. He should be able to get some good... Sometimes when you see people have it done, their work's a bit patchy. But this looks... I couldn't even know he was cut, to be honest. I couldn't even... Honestly, on hindsight now, I didn't even notice the second cut below the big one on his eyebrow. So, fair play to his doctor. That should now line up nicely. However, we'll have to see how well it stands up to actual shots, because what it looks like and how it feels when it's being hit with big, powerful 250-pound trained men is another story. Anywho, let's get to the juicy part now, that you've all been sitting there, I'm sure, waiting for, tickling your assholes, begging for the YB's deep Freudian analysis. And trust me, this isn't me being pedantic, this actually got me into my it brought me back to my old university days when the YB was studying to be a psychiatrist and be a deep psychologist. Got a PhD in psychology. I remember when I was studying, this right here was what do they call it? A case study. This right here is a case study of pure Freudianness. Now, YB, what is Freudianness? I'm glad you asked. Freudianness is what we see here. Tyson Fury sitting here talking about, oh yeah, I feel good. Oh, I've never felt so good in my life. Come on, boss man. We all saw the fight. And this is like he's trying to almost convince himself. And he says something as well. He says, oh yeah, I'm just doing this video because everyone needs to follow his dreams. All throughout this video, he said about 4 or 5 times how good he feels. He said about how he needs to follow his dreams. Now, you could just take that at face value, but that's not what we do here. We break things down. We use our PhD in psychology to go deeper, to dig deeper. Now, what does that mean? Well, he's sitting there ranting and raving about, oh yeah, you got to follow dreams. I almost feel like he's trying to, not encourage himself, but almost feel like he's trying to make himself believe it. Oh yeah, I feel the best I've ever felt. Oh, we all saw the fight, boss. It's not as if it was like an average performance. This right here was worse than AJ vs Ruiz. That's how bad the performance was. And you all know how bad that AJ performance was. I call AJ the clone. The difference is, Fury didn't look like a clone. He looked like James DeGale. He looked like Keith Thurman in there. These guys have all things in common. They're all around 31 years old as well, just to mention. But the other thing they've got in common is high DeGale cells. They've all got that look about them. Their legs just aren't there. They're like Bambi on ice when they're standing up. They haven't got that. All the power's gone. Where's Thurman's power gone? Where did DeGale's power go? Where's the speed go? But never mind the speed and the power. Actually, the main thing for me is the feet, and never mind Thurman. Thurman was known as having good feet. DeGale was known as having good feet, but Fury was a level and above, especially the heavyweight. Especially when you factor in that Fury wasn't fighting a guy who's lighting his feet and skipping forward and stuck it on Fury, and Fury just couldn't keep up. This guy, Wallin, had no feet himself. He was walking forward. He wasn't in and out like a ballerina. Wallin was plodding forward, and I've got another video coming out soon exposing this as well. I did a statistics video of CompuBox stats from Fury versus Wallin. Wallin landed the most punches in Fury's whole career, which implies he shot. But not only that, I then went on to learn that not only did Wallin land the most punches against the defensive wizard. Oh, yes, you couldn't land a glove on me. Oh, yes, Anthony Joshua, he's too stiff. He wouldn't land a glove on me. Oh, but Otto Wallin would land 200 gloves on me. But Anthony Joshua, he's too stiff. He wouldn't land a glove on me. So that same guy there, who is the elusive one, AJ's too stiff, no one can land a glove on me. That same guy there got landed the most gloves ever in his career. And not only that, Wallin only was throwing literally averagely per round, Wallin was throwing 25 punches a round. But yet, that count, and to give you some context there, the heavyweight average is around 41 punches. So Wallin was coming in damn near half of the heavyweight average, but still, even though he had a massively low punch count, he was hitting Fury with everything. You should see the punch stats. He's connecting 42% of the time, and this is Wallin. He's not a massively accurate fighter. It wasn't Fury versus Mayweather, where Mayweather's pop shot and it looking beautiful. Wallin was in there. He wasn't even doing much, but everything he was throwing was hitting Fury square on his head. This is the elusive Fury. This is the Fury with the legs. Where do your legs go? This has been my big question. When you hurt your eye, your legs don't disappear. Yeah, if you aren't shot, if you aren't finished, your legs don't just go because you got a cut on your eye. If anything, he should have been thinking, you know what, I really need to be elusive now. I really need to nip and tuck and get out of the way. He could have. This is what Fury does, by the way. I'm not asking him to recreate the wheel. He could have said, you know what, I've been cut. I really need to protect this eye. Let me jab and get out and make it really boring. It's not going to be as exciting as I wanted it to be, thinking about the Shorts fight, but I'll get the win. He couldn't. His legs were done. He couldn't do it. He had to literally stand there and trade. And not only, that's another thing that implied he's shot to me, or shows he's shot. And then we have the confirmation from his doctors that he has massively high amount of DeGale cells in his body. Not only that, when he was standing with Wallin, he was going life and death with him. He was really gritting his teeth, and a lot of Fury fans say, oh, YB, the reason Tyson Fury can punch just as hard as Anthony Joshua. You had people like Dave Allen coming out and saying, oh yes, I've sparred with Anthony Joshua, I've sparred with Tyson Fury, I've sparred with Deontay Wilder, and I'm telling you now that Tyson Fury is the hardest punching heavyweight. Everyone was gassing and said, oh yes, YB, the reason that Tyson Fury punches as hard as Anthony Joshua, but the difference is, Tyson Fury doesn't sit down on his punches. That's the only reason why. He has pillow fists. So everyone was gassing him about, it's about the technique and whatnot. And Fury's technique is shocking, but more importantly, it's nothing to do with sitting down, because Fury was sat down in them shots. He was really gritting his teeth, really digging away. And Wallin, after the fight, said, I don't even remember being hit. That's what he did do. He didn't get buzzed. He didn't take a back step. He just stood there in the pocket with Fury. Fury was probably slugging away. I felt really sorry for him. It felt like, have you ever had one of them dreams where you're in some sort of confrontation, and I've had loads of them, not recently, but over my life. It's two kind of dreams. Either you're in a confrontation and you're fighting, but you just haven't got any power, and the guy's kind of laughing at you. You just can't muster any force. And at the time in the dream, I'm always thinking, what's going on? Why can't I get any power? Why am I feeling like Tyson Fury in it? No, but seriously, I've had them dreams where I'm trying to fight and I just can't get any snap on it. It's really frustrating at the time. Or the other one where you're trying to run from someone and you just can't run quick enough. And I actually felt quite emotional for Fury watching that fight, because he was slugging away. He just couldn't get any snap on it. He was fighting in treacle tart. He was fighting in custard. He just couldn't get any whip, and he just couldn't muster any of it on him. And combining the legs, where's the head movement gone? Mr. Head movement disappeared, nowhere in sight. Wallin landing 30, 40, 50% of his punches. Where's Mr. Head movement? Where's Mr. Elusive? And the problem with you Fury fans is, I'm coming with pure stats. So head movement nowhere. Punches no damage. Legs no damage. No fluidness. These right here are statistical proofs that Fury is finished. Just like DeGale, just like Furman. And it can happen overnight, because, as I mentioned, Furman's a perfect example, recently speaking, because he had 2-3 years off, a few injuries and that, but he wasn't drinking and smoking and whatnot. He comes back and he don't look the same either. He's completely lost it. His legs are like Bambi on ice. He's finished. It's crazy. It's really weird phenomenon within boxing. But then again, thinking about it from a high-level sports point of view, In my experience, you don't. Boxing's the only actual sport where people in the prime of their career do take 2 or 3 years off. It don't happen nowhere else. If you look at people like, I don't know, pick anyone, Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt was Olympics back to back to back to back, World Championship back to back to back. They don't just take 3 years off in the middle of their career, because most people can't afford to do it. Because you've got to, in them other sport, in every other sport, apart from boxing, or even footballers don't take 3 years out just to piss around. It just doesn't. Boxing's the only one where people have massive time off, like Ricky Fatton used to do. Have 6 months off and just get really fat. No other sport does that. Every other sport stays in the loop. And I think that's what boxing's suffering with. It's not how it works, especially at elite level. Back in the day, boxers may have been able to get... Well, actually, tell a lie. Back in the day, boxers weren't having time off because they couldn't afford to. And that's, I think, part of the problem. The money's ruined it to an extent, because now boxers only have to fight once, twice a year. Like Gervonta Davis. These guys should be fighting 6-7 times a year against the level of opponents they are. He's not getting hurt. If you're not getting hurt, you should be in the ring fighting, sharpening your tools. And we've seen the blueprint. Look how sharp Mike Tyson was in his prime. He was fighting every other week, every month or whatever. Bang in there, sharpened. Fury's been off, doing God knows what, and at the end of the day, whatever excuse or whatever reason there is, he's come back and he's not the same. If you believe he is, that's your business, and time will tell. To be fair, I may be wrong, and if I am, that small 0.1% chance I am wrong, I'll come back and put my hands in there and say, listen guys, I was wrong. If he turns it on for the Wilder rematch, fair play to him. I'll honestly come on here and say, listen, I was wrong. I have no problem admitting when I've made a mistake. Anyway, I've been treated what you guys think. Essentially, in conclusion, the things I want you to think about. Did you get the feeling, bearing in mind this is the 1 minute clip, the amount of times he said, oh, I feel great, this is the best I've ever felt, oh, I've just been in the gym, it's the best I've ever felt. I just feel like, he said it's almost like he's trying to convince himself that that's the case, when in reality, we all know, he must have seen all the comments. He's seen the YB. He follows the YB. That's what we do know. He's subbed. He's Patreoned up. We do know that. So he knows the stats are there. He's heard. He knows I know about the doctors. He knows I know about the DeGale cells. So I feel like he's trying to convince Otto fans. Trust me, I feel the best I've ever have. All my head movements back. All my feet are back. Oh, I'm gonna box everyone's head off. I'm surprised he didn't put that in there. It's like he's trying to convince the fans. And even I felt bad because on one of the responses to it said, "You big dosser" on there. I thought, wow. His own people are just mugging him off now. Because that's what happens when these sort of fans, the Fury fans, were riding the bandwagon hard. Not because they were going to ride it until the wheels fall off. They were riding it because they thought he was the great hope. Oh yes, Fury. Oh yes, he's going to do this. That's what everyone was getting gassed for. It happens all the time. You all put your eggs in one basket. But these guys, the fans are fickle. Same as a lot of AJ fans. The minute it don't go right, they jump off the bandwagon hard. And I've been there, I've witnessed it all. And unfortunately for Fury, when AJ's wheels fall off, he's doing it at a world level. Fury's going life and death with anyone. Wallin who? We was all laughing about how easy the opponent was. We was all expecting a Fury goes in there, marches forward and knocks Schwartz over. Fury's going life and death with anyone. It's not good at all. And he's trying to convince... It makes me laugh. He sits here and says, oh yeah, the best I've ever felt. It's a shame. It's no good 10 days after you've gone life and death with the random dude talking about how great you felt. Why didn't you show us how great you felt on fight night? What's the point coming on IG 10 days later when the fight's over and talking about how good you felt? Why didn't you use some of that goodness 10 days ago? I just feel it's a bit weird, especially when I didn't, but especially when your 10 loyal fans actually purchased pay-per-view. Did you not think I better look good for them or give them a bit of a performance? Or did you think I'll just mug them off and look dead there and then come on IG 10 days later and say, oh, I feel great, oh, the best ever? Weird anyway. Like I said, I'll be intrigued to what you might think.